And what all chapters have been completed?
Ma'am, chapter 5, 6, 7, 8 have been completed.
Name the chapters, please.
Morphology of flowering plants,
Hmm.
anatomy of flowering plants,
Hmm.
structural organization in animals, and cell the unit of life.
That has been completed.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Please switch on your video.
Sure.
Let's start this class. Hmm. So it's good. It's very good to see a familiar face. How does it feel to become an 11th now?
It feels hard.
Feels hard? Yeah, that definitely is a very big jump from class 10 to 11th. It's like a biggest jump ever. So
Yes,
you're
it's more
still,
challenging.
yeah,
It's more challenging.
it is. So, why have you joined so late?
I wasn't sure whether to join tuition classes or not.
Why? You
I
thought you
thought
would do it.
I thought I was gonna do it myself, but then later I realized that I do need tuition classes.
For class 11th and 12th, you would require it. Even if you can do it on your own, there is like something extra, some concept that you cannot do on your own, right? For that, it is very, very necessary. So it's a good decision. Der hai durust hai, but good. All right. So today we will be beginning with the chapter that is cell. Now, the cell chapter you've already studied in class 9th, right? The basic concepts, the basic terminologies, all of those things were already there. It's just a higher level and all those things that they did not mention when you were in class 9. Now they will mention, they're like, okay, now go have all the information about the cell when you're in class 11th. And what are all your subjects? PCB,
PCMB.
PCMB. All right. So talking about the cell is called as the unit of life or the fundamental unit of life. There's a reason. There are actually two reasons for it. The first reason is that the cell is the only component of our body which is capable of independent existence, meaning it doesn't need anything else to exist. Okay, so it can exist independently. Apart from that, a cell is, you can say, capable of performing all the functions on its own. It doesn't require any other machinery to be associated with it. One cell has these two kinds of abilities. First, that it can exist independently, and second, that it does not require any other help and it can perform all the functions that there is. This is the reason why you call cell as the functional unit of life. And the reason why it is so important is because you name the living organism, no matter what living organism you're talking about, they are made up of cell without any exception. All the living organisms, they are made up of cells. Now you already know that on the basis of the total number of cells in their body, the organisms are of two types. Those that have just one cell, they are called as unicellular organism, whereas the ones that have multiple cells in their body, they are called as the multicellular organisms. So when we talk about the unicellular organisms, so you can also call them as single-celled organisms. The representative organisms are bacteria. The best example for a unicellular organism is bacteria. Then you have diatoms, you have amoeba, all of these are your unicellular organism examples. Now, unicellular organisms, they are very simple, very primitive kind of organisms. Whereas, when we talk about the multicellular organisms, so they are the ones that are made up of more than one cell. So, they are made up of multiple cells. They have multiple cells in their body. And each cell form further like a group and then the further grouping happens. Okay. So the organisms that would represent a multicellular structure would be all the plants, fungus, animals, all of that. Clear? Now, since you already know me, so I'm not going to, tell you those things that if you have a doubt, feel free to ask me. You will, right? You know the drill. You've been here.
Yes.
Okay. Now see, if there is no cell, then you will not take that particular organism as a living organism. Anything that is less than a cell is not considered as a living. The basic, like, don't we say that the basic requirement for a human to live is like food, water, clothes, and all of that? Same way, the basic requirement to be considered as living is the presence of a cell. So, all in all, the cell is capable of independent existence. It is capable of performing essential functions of the life. And that is why we call it as the structural and the fundamental, the functional unit of our life. This much is clear?
Yes.
Now, obviously, the cell that we are studying today, it might have been, earlier there might have been someone who discovered it. So, in the year 1665, the first person to ever talk about something such as cell into existence was Robert Hooke. So, Robert Hooke, him in the year 1665, he discovered the first cell ever. And he discovered it from the thin slice of cork. Cork is a cell taken from the bark of the tree. So the cells that are taken from the bark of the tree, they are known as cork cells. So the cell that he discovered was a dead cell. It was not a living cell, but still it was a dead cell. Then in the year 1675, there came Anton von Leeuwenhoek. And he was the one who discovered the first living cell in the year 1675. Now, after the cell was discovered, there were different scientists, different people that, started to formulate theories about the cell, right? How the cell functions, how the cell exists, what are the structures and everything. So everyone had their own particular theories to give about the cell. Now, you know that the whole entire biology has been divided into two major chunks. That is the study of plants, the study of animals. The study of plants is your botany. The study of animals is your zoology. So when we talk about the cell theory, so whenever if anyone would ask you who gave the cell theory, so you'd say Schleiden and Swan gave the cell theory. Now, Matthias Schleiden, him in the year 1838, he was a German botanist. So he studied many plants and he came to the conclusion that all the plants are made up of cells. Like the beginning blocks of plants being formed are the cells. Then at the same time, around the same time, Theodor Swan, who was a zoologist, he was studying the animals and he came to the same conclusion. So both of them together stated one fact that whether it is the plants or whether it is the animals, these organisms, they are made up of cells and the products of cells. Okay, this is the line that they stated. But do you think anywhere they are telling you from where the cell is coming? Are they telling you the origin of the cell? Like where does it originate from?
No.
No, they're definitely not. So then came another scientist. His name was Rudolf Virchow, and him in the year 1855, he told us that all cells divide and they form the new cells. Okay, so he said that the cells, they come from pre-existing cells. And this phenomena is called as omnis cellula e cellula. He used this phrase to tell us that the cells, they come from pre-existing cells, meaning those cells that have already been existing, they give rise to the new cells. So all in all, in a nutshell, the different points of the cell theory are: the first, all living organisms, they are made up of cells and products of cells. All the cells, they come from pre-existing cells, meaning the cells that have already been existing. And the third point of the cell theory is the activity of an organism are the sum total of the activities that happens inside the cell. So for example, if in our body proteins are being synthesized, so that is a sum, that's a result from what the cell is doing for us. Clear? Cell theory is clear?
Yes.
Okay. So now when we talk about the cell theory, so this one is applicable to all the living organisms. Do you think there would be any exception to the cell theory?
No.
Think there is.
There is.
There is. There is one exception to cell theory, even though the cell theory is applicable to every living organism, but there is an exception. Any idea? No, viruses. Viruses are the biggest exception to the cell theory. Why? Because viruses, when they are present outside, for example, if they're present on the hand, on the table, on the water bottle, on the phone, then at that time they are dead. But as soon as they will come inside our body, whether inside our respiratory system, the lungs, wherever, then they will become alive. So inside the host body, they are dead. Outside the host body, inside the host body, they are alive. Outside the host body, they are dead. So will you call them dead? Will you call them alive? What will you call them? Are you going to call them as dead or are you going to call them alive? Are you able to hear me, Zainab? I think an internet connection is bad.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Zainab. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Internet connection is a bit slow today, so can I off my video?
So, so when we talk about the cell theory, so this one is applicable to all the living organisms, but there is one exception, and that is the viruses. So, viruses, they are an exception to the cell theory. Why? Because neither they are dead nor they are alive. So, you can't call them as truly living organisms. So, as a result, we will not consider them as living, and cell theory is not applicable to them. Is it clear?
Yes.
Now, in a cell, there are a lot of components present, such as the cell membrane, the cell cytoplasm, cell organelle, different components are there, each of which we have to study. But before all of this, we have to study the two types of organisms that there are, meaning the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes. Do you know anything about them? Prokaryotes and eukaryotes?
The prokaryotic cells are not well defined, whereas the eukaryotic cells are well defined. Like they have a well defined membrane, and the other one does not have a well defined membrane.
Well-defined membrane-bound nucleus. Okay, membrane-bound nucleus is the main differentiating feature in between the prokaryote and the eukaryote. So when we talk about the different types of organisms, depending upon the nuclear membrane, meaning the membrane surrounding the nucleus, so there is your prokaryote and your eukaryote. But before this, you note down till here, then we'll move forward, okay?
Okay. Ma'am, can you scroll? Done. Done. Done, ma'am. I'm done. Ma'am, should I also write about the DNA, like the green?
No, 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 that's not necessary. Done?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
All right. So we were going to talk about the different types of organisms depending upon the membrane surrounding the nucleus. So prokaryotes and eukaryotes are there. Now, when we talk about prokaryotes, so these are the organisms that do not have a membrane surrounding their nucleus. So membrane-less nucleus is there. Apart from that, prokaryotes are those organisms that don't even have membrane-bound cell organelles. But when we talk about the eukaryotes, so they have a well-defined membrane-bound nucleus. Along with that, they all, like all the different cell organelles that are membrane-bound and non-membrane-bound, both the types of organelles are present in them. Furthermore, talking about in terms of it's like you can say when did they come to the face of the earth. So prokaryotes are more, you can say, primitive, whereas the eukaryotes, they are more advanced. Prokaryotic organisms, they are usually smaller in size, whereas the eukaryotes, they are larger comparatively. Ribosomes of the prokaryotes are 70S type, that is the, you can say the type of ribosome of prokaryotes is 70S and the type of ribosomes of eukaryotes is 80S. This S stands for the sedimentation coefficient or Swedberg's unit. Okay, this tells us about the subunits or the ribosomes sedimentation rate. And what is the function of ribosome? Whether it is a prokaryote, whether it is a eukaryote, the ribosome, they are responsible for synthesizing the proteins. Further, the prokaryotes do not have centrioles. What are centrioles? These are spherical structures that are involved during cell division. They are absent in the case of plants under the eukaryotes, but they are present in the animals. Talking about a nucleolus. So inside the nucleus, there is a spherical structure called as nucleolus, which is absent in the case of prokaryotes because they do not have any nucleus to begin with. And when we talk about the eukaryotes, they do have a nucleolus present in them. Further, true vacuoles are absent in the case of the prokaryotes, but gas vacuoles are present. And in the case of eukaryotes, plants have proper true vacuoles present, but amongst them animals, they do not have any vacuole. And lastly, there comes the plasmid. Now, apart, like see, if this is a cell, so the main DNA that is present, it is called as the genomic DNA. Genomic DNA. But apart from the genomic DNA, they have circular extra chromosomal DNA segment, which is called as plasmid. Now, this property is only found in the prokaryotes and it is not found in the eukaryotes. Is it clear?
Ma'am, can you explain genomic DNA again?
Genomic DNA is the main DNA of the cell, meaning the DNA that will be doing the inheritance stuff and all of that. The main DNA of the cell is the genomic DNA. Okay. Whereas the extra DNA that the prokaryotes have, that is called as the plasmid. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts up until now?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so this was about the basic introduction of the cell, the different types of organisms depending upon the number of cells, then depending upon the membrane, whether the membrane is present or not. I hope everything is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now further, there is one formality that I have to do with you. Can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
So right in front of you are a few questions. Now these questions are just for the assessment so as to know how much your base is strong from class 10 and whether or not you will be needing any kind of introductory part. Okay, so these questions are there. Each of them carry their own marks. So you have to answer according to the marks they carry, but you have to answer orally instead of writing it down. Clear? So the first question is, what are life processes occurring in human beings? What are the various life processes?
Processes such as life
Huh?
processes such as reproduction, respiration, and all. Metabolism.
Your voice is not clear, Zainab.
Ma'am, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Respiration, transportation, then?
Metabolism and all.
Okay. See, you have to answer according to the mark. So you have to give me the answer when the answer feels satisfying enough. Understood? Okay. So
So I
explain
need
the
to answer it.
important. Huh?
So I need to answer it in a sentence.
Properly. Yes, nicely. How you would answer
Okay.
normally. That's how
Life,
you answer. Okay, next question.
life processes are
Explain.
the
It's okay. It's okay. That's done. Explain the importance of small intestines. Small
small
intestine?
intestine contains the small
Yeah.
intestine contains like structures which help in the absorption of nutrients.
Okay.
So it helps in the digestion and absorption. Also, the villi is made up of blood vessels.
Okay. What else? And like, why is small intestine so important for digestion?
To since it breaks down food.
Because it is the site of complete digestion of. Okay. Next question. What do you mean by fluid connective tissue? Give example. What is the fluid connective tissue of our body?
Blood,
Can you name the components of blood?
plasma, white blood cells, red blood cells,
Then
lipids,
lipids. No.
lymph,
Lymph is there, then this thing, plasma is there, right? And why do we call blood as the fluid connective tissue?
I don't really remember.
Okay. All right, no problem. Next question. What is the function of producers in our ecosystem? What are the producers of our ecosystem? And if there's any question that you don't know, then you can skip the question. Huh?
Plants.
Plants are the producers. Okay. What is the function of producers?
They provide food to the entire ecosystem. The basic create food. They create food.
Who is helping you? Tell that person to go and sit somewhere else. I can hear both of your voices. Okay. Apart from making food, what else does the producer do?
Can you repeat?
Yeah,
Can you repeat? Can you repeat?
I can't hear you.
Ma'am, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Can you repeat the question?
I'm saying apart from doing photosynthesis, like making food, what other function does a producer have?
Converts light energy to chemical energy.
And that is photosynthesis only. What else?
It is the base of the food chain.
Hmm? What?
Like it starts food chain. It's the base of the food chain. Like it starts
Yes.
the food chain.
Yes. And apart from that, it also provides oxygen. How can you forget that? Oxygen. Okay. What do you mean by a phenotype?
I thought that it's like apart from photosynthesis,
No,
you did not
photosynthesis is
mean
production
like
of food. And then as a byproduct, you're getting oxygen also, which has to be mentioned because we are surviving because of that only.
okay.
What do you mean by a phenotype?
The characters like in plants which can be observed.
The externally observable characters. Can you give
The
me any
physical
example?
appearance.
Yeah?
The physical appearance
Yeah.
in the
Can you give
plant.
me any example of it?
Tallness.
Hmm?
Tallness.
Tall. Oh. All right. Next question. What is transpiration?
Transportation of water.
Transportation of water is transpiration.
Yes.
No, it's not transportation of water. Think. It is something related to water only, but it's not transpiration. Transpiration is something else. Transpiration is the evaporatory loss of water, okay?
I'm so sorry, my Wi-Fi connection is slow, so it keeps
So,
getting cut off.
no problem. Last question. Explain double circulation.
I'm sorry.
Explain double circulation. Last question.
Okay,
Double
blood
circulation.
process to the heart twice.
Hmm. Then
Blood enters the heart, and then the oxygen. I know how to write all of this. I don't know how to say it in oral.
you know how to write, but still you can like normally explain. It's not a test. You just have to
Can I
explain.
explain it points then?
Huh?
It stops the blood. It stops the oxygenated blood and oxygenated blood from mixing. helps in stopping the deoxygenated and oxygenated blood mixing.
Okay. Then double circulation. What are the two types of circulations under the double circulation?
Pulmonary and
Pulmonary and I know you know because I've taught you these things. So I know you have the knowledge.
yes.
So pulmonary circulation. One more you name and then it's over. What is the second type
Systemic.
of circulation? Systemic circulation.
Systemic
Very good.
system.
Okay. All right. As far as today's class is concerned, do you have any doubts, Zainab?
No.
No doubts? Okay.
No.
So from the next class, we'll continue from the prokaryotic cell. Okay?
Okay.
All right.